Sneha Shashikumar.
Nail on the head.
Yes! Welcome her up.
Thank you. I had just stumbled home from a ridiculously late night at work when I realized, God damn it, it was that time of the month again. To be clear though, I'm not referring to the perils of being born female. No, it was that time of the month where my ex-boyfriend Sam decided he would reach out to me. This time he had decided to forego words altogether and just sent me a gif of a baby elephant at the beach. I know that sounds innocent enough, but I'm here to tell you that I consume elephant content the same way that the rest of the internet consumes cat content. And this was a gif I hadn't seen before, and baby elephants are so cute and obviously far superior to cats, and it's 2 a.m. I'm so tired that I'm rambling. So I decided to do the logical thing, be responsible. I'm not gonna waste precious sleep time texting my stupid ex. Turn off my phone, I get into bed. No, I'm gonna waste precious sleep time thinking about my ex. More specifically, having an imaginary conversation that goes something like this. Didn't I block you on Facebook? No, he'd respond. You unfriended me. That's 2 letters away from friend, and that I can work with. Please, where'd you find this gif anyway? Travel site, he'd say. I'm gonna go backpacking through Asia. Might take a page out of your book and visit Hong Kong. Hong Kong, I'd respond. I could talk about their egg tarts for days. Go on. I don't mind listening to you. And so I did. Go on and on and on for the rest of the night, for the rest of the week, for the rest of the month, and just when I thought I had gotten his voice out of my head, ping, right on cue. There was another message from Sam. Now, in my defense, it was a very bizarre period of my life. I had just moved to a city I didn't know, I was surrounded by people I didn't know, in a job I certainly did not know how to do, and so it happened to be that the only consistent thing in my life were Sam's messages every month. Way more consistent than my actual period that just kind of showed up whenever she felt like it. So forgive me if it made sense to stumble home from work, as usual, throw my bag on the couch and grumble. I don't know if I'm PMSing again, but I really think my manager hates me. Of course, he'd say. She didn't hand you an agenda again at the meeting today. Thank God, finally, someone understands. Of course he fucking understood. He was a voice in my own head. I don't know what was crazier, the fact that I, a grown-ass woman, had created an imaginary friend based off my ex-boyfriend, or the fact that he, a grown-ass man, messaged me every month for 2 years without ever once receiving a single real response from me. And like I said, this went on and on and on with absolutely no end in sight. Until finally one night, as these things tend to go, I got drunk. And was thinking about this situation and decided that imaginary conversations were enough and composed what I firmly believe is the greatest drug text ever written. So if you'll indulge me. The text said this. Okay, so the following is fueled by a lot of high-quality scotch. Feel free to ignore it, but really, I swear to God, it's a good thing we don't talk anymore, Sam, because you fuck with me. Get under my skin like a splinter and stay there for weeks. Intrusively find your way into dreams you have no business being in. Take up space in the corner of my mind during meetings where I really would like to have full control over my faculties of recall, and yes, a lot of time is spent thinking about how brilliant you are, but more than anything, I'm fucking pissed that you told me about your tattoos, because I keep thinking about how much I would love to see them up close. It's really, really a good thing we don't talk to each other. I made a few tweaks, and I hit send. Primary tweak being changing the recipient. My sister is very confused. No, the actual message I sent Sam was a lot shorter and a lot more direct. I simply asked him, why in the world do you keep reaching out to me? And he texted back, I don't know. What are you so afraid of? And that night we sat down and talked. And I realized very quickly in the first real conversation I'd had with a man in literal years that I'm not the badass that I think that I am. And also, he's not nearly as eloquent as the voice that I have in my own head. And eventually he says, I know things are never going to go back to the way that they were. Can't change the past. But I don't see what's wrong with saying hi every once in a while. I would really like to have a place in your life. And I thought about that, a place in my life. See, here's the thing, he had a place in my life, even after we'd broken up, because with every message that he sent me, his voice got louder and louder in my head. I gave him space, gave him words that I should have said and kept for myself. But again, as usual, it's 2 a.m., and so I decide to do the responsible thing. I'm gonna go to sleep, and I tell him, maybe tomorrow I'll finally find the words to describe what this feels like when you reach out to me. I turn off my phone and I go to bed. And here's the thing, I didn't find those words. Not tomorrow, or the next day, or the weeks that have passed since. If I'm being honest with myself, this story is the first time I've ever tried to describe the experience. And when I wrote the story, it was meant to be about closure, because I never answered him, and he finally stopped messaging me. And I thought, maybe that was that. You have that one conversation and you move on with your life. And I know that I don't need that anymore. But again, storytelling is about being honest. So I feel obligated to tell you that 2 days ago, Sam messaged me again. And I've stopped feeling that urge to talk to him in my head. His voice is gone. Here's to hoping he stops feeling the urge to write to me.
Yeah.